morning to you. Welcome to the AM News coming to you from Global TV in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed that the National Economic Council should start meeting in order to support deliberations on the enhancement of minimum wage and other interventions to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, who led the oil marketers to meet with the president, disclosed these at Aso Rock in Nigeria's federal capital, Abuja. After meeting with the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on interventions to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal, Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, who led the oil marketers, said the president directed that the National Economic Council (NEC) start meeting in order to support the deliberations. The oil marketers and petroleum depot operators under the aegis of the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, pledged their support to the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and called for better cushion the effect on the economy. We'll bring you details of the story subsequently. As we turn to other stories now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has held his first meeting with governors of the 36 states of the Federation, known as the Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Some of those present at the meeting were governors of Zamfara, Sokoto, Taraba, Kogi, Ogun, Nasarawa, Bayelsa, Adamawa, Ebonyi, Lagos, Rivers, Osun, Jigawa, Benue, Taraba, Delta, Enugu, Rivers, Oyo, Plateau, Kebbi, Abia, Imo, and Bauchi. The deputy governors of Edo and Niger were represented by the states. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Senator George Akume as the 21st Secretary of the Government of the Federation, SGF. The former governor of Benue State and immediate past Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs took the oaths of allegiance and office in ceremony held at the Council Chambers, State House, in the presence of the President, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and senior government officials. Our correspondent, Folorenshaw Adegoke, completes the report. President Bola Tinubu has sworn in Senator George Akume as the new Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, at the Council's chamber. Akume was sworn in at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Wednesday. The former Benue State Governor took his oath of allegiance and oath of office at about 11:06 a.m. in the Council's chamber of the Presidential Villa. The event was witnessed by some serving and former governors, Vice President Kashim Shettima and Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Others are Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemi Eson, and the wife of the new SGF, Mrs. Regina Akume. Speaking to reporters after his inauguration, Akume said it is an honor to be chosen to serve exalted position out of over 200 million Nigerians.
It's a challenge to serve in line with the oath I have taken today, a few minutes ago. I assure Nigerians I will do my best. I will not disappoint the president. I will not disappoint this country. I will not disappoint my party. I believe Nigerians will find fulfillment in my responsibilities as I discharge them in their own interest.
Of exaltation, out of the many states, Benue is chosen, and it's one of our sons whom we're all proud of. We know his requisite. We know what he has offered in the past many decades for the state and for the nation. We're very confident, too confident, that he's also going to deliver, and the nation is going to be proud that our choicest man from the state is selected and sworn in for this great job.
My husband is a very hard working man, very humble, kind, compassionate. He relates with people very well, and I know this time too he will do the best.
The ceremony comes about 5 days after the president had announced the appointment of Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, as Chief of Staff. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has objected to the request by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and his party to tender exhibits from 17 states of the Federation against the election of President Bola Tinubu. The exhibits are merely EC8B forms used by the electoral body in collating results at the ward level of the states during the 25th of February presidential election. Sandra Akba has details of that story.
INEC, while opposing documents presented by the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Steve Adeyi, at the Presidential Electoral Petition Court, however, informed the court to give rationale for his objections at the address stage of the proceedings. Obi's lawyer and Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Bembela Anachebe, while introducing the documents, explained that the exhibits were obtained from the custody of INEC. He said the documents was duly certified by the electoral body before releasing them to his clients.
All the evidence for Labour Party is going in smooth. They are all going in smoothly. What is outstanding is is getting fewer by the day, except for the ones that INEC has not availed us. For example, for one of which is the beavers, access to beavers.
Apart from INEC, which conducted the election in dispute, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress, APC, who were declared winners of the poll, also kicked against the admission of the exhibits. However, in line with the pre-hearing report and agreements of counsel, reasons for the objection are to be reserved at the address stage of the hearing of the petition. The states where the exhibits were tendered and admitted are Adamawa, Bayelsa, Benue, Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Sokoto, Delta, and Ekiti. Others are Imo, Kaduna, Oyo, Cross River, Edo, Akwa Ibom, and Lagos. That of Ebonyi was put off on the ground that INEC was yet to make the exhibits available to the two petitioners.
To provide the documents that we need for prosecution of our petition, we have gotten some. We have not gotten the others, and we have issued the normal processes to compel them to produce these documents. Once we have them, we proceed. But we're comfortable with the speed at which we are going, and we are paid fully for it.
Breakdown of the exhibit showed that the collated ward results were tendered in 21 local government areas of Adamawa, Bayelsa, Benue, Kogi, Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Sokoto, and Delta State, respectively. Chairman of the court, Justice Haruna Simon Samani, has adjourned further hearing in the petition till June 7th. Akpa Sandra reporting for Global Television.
In the meantime, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has reiterated his position that the management of the fuel subsidy regime in Nigeria has become organized crime that permits stealing of the country's resources. Obi spoke to reporters on the sidelines of the ongoing hearing of petitions challenging the 25th of February presidential election at the Presidential Election Tribunal in Abuja. Tessie Otung has details.
The Labour Party presidential candidate stressed his determination, if elected as president, to remove the fuel subsidy and introduce a new open and transparent system that carries the people along. He reels that out by using empirical data, saying the PMS purportedly consumed by Nigerians is far more than what is supposed to be when compared to other countries like Pakistan.
I believe it should be removed with conditions, and that condition has to be applied. If I was involved, I would have shown in empirical statistical data how much we are going to save, where we are going to apply it, the gains for the people, so they can, just like I said all throughout my campaign, that I'm going to govern the people by being open, showing them empirically verifiable facts on how the country can be better.
On the conditions precedent to the removal of the subsidy, Obi says he had enumerated them in his manifesto while campaigning for the office of the president. Tessie Otung reporting for Global TV.
Nigerians have called for the arrest and prosecution of the immediate past Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, after the Managing Director of Nigeria Air, Dayo Olumide, disclosed that the airplane that landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, on 26th of May 2023 was chartered from Ethiopia Airlines. Olumide said this while answering questions from lawmakers, adding that it was launched in 2018 and that his own responsibility was to secure an operating certificate for the airline. Sirika at the Federal Executive Council meeting had earlier said that the national carrier will begin operations before ex-President Buhari's administration wound down on 29th of May 2023, despite an order by a federal court in Lagos restraining Nuhu Musa, Director General of the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, from issuing an air operator certificate to the proposed airline. Contrary to the minister's claim that the federal government will control 5% equity, while a consortium of 3 Nigerian investors comprising MRS, SACO, and the Nigerian Sovereign Fund will have 46%. Olumide countered that the aircraft did not require a license and other processes as it was hired. You're watching the AM News on Global TV, live on Star Times Channel 276 in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. You can follow us across social media platforms at Global TV NG. We have more stories coming your way right after this short break. Don't go away. We appreciate you staying with us. And now a bit of business. The World Bank has warned that Nigeria's economic growth is too slow to address the challenge of extreme poverty in the country. Meanwhile, the bank retained its economic growth gross domestic product GDP forecast of 2.8% for Nigeria in 2023, citing challenges of high inflation, foreign exchange shortages, and shortages of banknotes caused by currency redesign. Among other things, the bank downgraded its economic growth forecast for sub-Saharan Africa to 3.2% for 2023 from 3.4%. It projected in its April World Economic Outlook, it also projected that global economic growth will slow. We'll take another quick break now. We'll back shortly to bring you more business and sports on the AM News. Please stay with us. Let's talk a bit more business now. The federal government has harmonized investment treaty with the Kingdom of the Netherlands for the mutual benefits of both countries. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Evelyn N. Ngige, said these are the first roundtable negotiation on the investment promotion and protection agreement between the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the government of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Abuja. Evelyn maintained that this step would also boost economic activity and strengthen the confidence of investors for a sustainable economic development, saying the continuous collaboration between the two countries will impact positively on Nigeria's economy. And elsewhere, the House of Representatives has called for a forensic audit of the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to determine its assets and liabilities as well as its current market value. The House Ad hoc Committee on NNPCL's assets and liabilities in its report said its findings showed that assets worth 28 trillion naira was unveiled by former President Muhammadu Buhari, but during the transfer, only 26 trillion naira was transferred, leaving a balance of 2 trillion naira unaccounted for. The House of Representatives also recommended that NNPCL should reassess its accounting system. The committee presented its report a week after the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Melekari, said the federal government still owed the company 2.8 trillion naira that it had spent on petrol subsidy. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has said that Nigeria has various commodities that could be exported in a bid to grow the country's economy, provide jobs, as well as provide the nation with foreign exchange earnings. Director General of SEC, Lamido Yuguda, in a statement said the agricultural sector in the country is expected to grow significantly, ensuring that agricultural produce is of exportable standards and equity. The Commission is therefore collaborating with the Standards Organization of Nigeria, SAN, to develop standards for commodities. As we jump to the foreign scene now, Senegal has temporarily closed its consulates abroad following attacks on diplomatic missions in Bordeaux, Milan, Paris, and New York, among others. The Senegalese Foreign Affairs Ministry, in a statement, said that the precautionary measure would follow a series of aggressions that caused serious damage. It said the consulate in Milan had been particularly hard hit, with passport-making machines and identity cards damaged. The closure comes amid political tensions in Senegal following the sentencing of opposition leader Ousmane Sonko last week to 2 years in prison, which led to deadly protests. Italian media reported on Monday that about 40 Sonko supporters had gathered outside the consulate with flags and anti-government signs, breaking in and ransacking the offices before police intervened. Senegal's foreign ministry says consulate services will resume as soon as material and security conditions allow. And still talking stories from Africa now, Sierra Leone and Algeria have been elected non-permanent members of the UN Security representing Africa. Sierra Leonean President Julius Maada Bio and it represents a unique success as a democratic and peaceful country of resilience that had successfully transitioned from war to peace. Other countries elected into the UN Security Council include Guyana, Republic of Korea, and Slovenia. The five will join Ecuador, Japan, Malta, Mozambique, and Switzerland as non-permanent members of the Council. The new members will take up their seats on the 1st of January and will reserve until 31 December 2025. The Security Council is composed of 15 countries, including China, France, Russia, the UK, and the US, who were permanent members with the right to veto any resolution. The UN has expressed sadness as another deadly earthquake claimed the lives of at least 3 people near the Haitian city of Jérémie, compounding an already life-threatening situation. In recent days, caused by flooding and slides, the 5.5 megabyte has caused so much of damage, and the country is now reassessing its impact. We'll take another quick break now. When we return, we'll bring you more stories from the world of sports. Please stay with us. Germany police has cracked a human trafficking ring accused of smuggling hundreds of people in inhumane conditions. 6 suspects of the syndicate were arrested in raids across Germany, Romania, and Bulgaria. The German Federal Police said the suspects are believed to have trafficked more than 560 people into the country and more than 300 migrants to Romania. The probe into the ring began after accounts were collected from Turkish and Syrian nationals in the border regions of Austria, Czech Republic, and Poland. 4 of the suspects were arrested in Romania by authorities who were searching properties used to house the migrants. 1 suspect was picked up in Germany and another in Bulgaria. During the raids, investigations said they secured evidence, including 3 high-value cars, several mobile phones, and cash. Close to 200 officers were involved in the operation, including 130 in Germany alone. And now let's turn to sport. 57-year-old Ange Postecoglou has been appointed new Tottenham manager on a 4-year deal. The appointment of the Australian, who won the domestic treble with Celtic this year, puts to an end Tottenham's coach drought since former coach Antonio Conte left on mutual grounds. Postecoglou will join Spurs officially in the English Premier League on July 1. And back home, Nigerian winger Samuel Chukwueze has been dubbed Best African Player in La Liga for the 2022-2023 season. The winger had a stellar season, registering 13 goals and providing 11 assists across all competitions for Villarreal. Chukwueze, who struggled for game time with the Yellow Submarines at the beginning of last season, picked up for Villarreal for the arrival of Cheick Setien. Qatar's Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani has submitted a 5th and an upgraded bid. Qatar's Sheikh for the Manchester United, setting a deadline of Friday for final negotiations and hoping to beat Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Lions in their £6 billion takeover battle. Sheikh Jassim and Ratcliffe had both earlier this year publicly expressed their interest in taking over the Old Trafford outfits, and it is understood that Sheikh Jassim has made a 5th bid to acquire United. The latest offer is reported to be for full purchase of the club, and those involved in Sheikh Jassim's bid have indicated this will be the final bid. And that's it for the news here on Global TV Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. You can follow us across all of our social media platforms. The handle is at Global TV NG. Thank you so very much for watching. Global Morning starts now. I'm Uyi Agumofwegbe. Good morning.